Imagine if you could find that one KDP self-publishing niche with very little competition but lots of hungry buyers, which could bring you in nearly $10,000 a month. Well, fortunately for you, I lead a very dull and unexciting life, which means I spend it digging around in the bowels of Amazon to find you these very things. And today is no exception. So if self-publishing KDP colouring books is your thing, or you want to escape the 9-to-5 jive, making money online with your own self-publishing business, then follow along. Now, if you've not been to this channel before, then welcome. My name's Paul Miles, and I do videos on how to make it, keep it and grow it. And that's your money I'm talking about. And if you do like videos like that, then please do give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell to receive notification of when I produce more videos like this. Now, before we start, some of you are going to say, Paul, this niche is now saturated. I've given away all these secrets. If so, I suggest you watch last week's video, which I'll leave a link to below. But if you dig below the surface, you'll find some sub-niches that are ripe for the picking. Unfortunately, it will require some work on your part. So let's get into it. What is this niche? Well, I discussed it in that last video. It was a niche I came upon by chance, and it looked such a good opportunity that I couldn't ignore it and felt compelled to look into it a bit deeper because I know you guys want to be the first to hear about good opportunities. So what is it? Well, it's the kawaii colouring book niche. And not only is this niche making great sales with lots of low competition, but there are some smaller niches which branch off this, which we'll discuss in a moment. So let's have a look at the market, show you the opportunity available to you on Amazon, dive into the keywords, and then give you some ideas on how to make these books. Colouring books aren't the easiest in the low content book market to make, but they are a lot easier than writing a 30,000 word book and are more profitable. Unless you happen to be J.K. Rowling, in which case DM me as I have a few ideas. So what exactly is kawaii? Well, it is a Japanese word that means lovely, lovable, or cute. And they are these simple images here with cute faces. They can be animals, food, objects, anything with a cute face drawn on them. Now, if we go and have a look at the market, we can see on Google Trends that the search for kawaii has been pretty constant. In fact, it looks like it's increased over the last 5 years. Now, when I was on Amazon doing research for a previous video, I did a general search for colouring book, which came up with a lot of results. But when I was searching down the list of books, I came across this book, which seemed to stand out somewhat because I'd never really come across it before. And this was a kawaii colouring book, and that's when I decided to look into it a bit more. So I delved into the keyword a bit deeper and put in kawaii colouring book, which came up with 1,000 results. I think last week actually it was 2,000 results. Now I am looking in the all categories, and that is important. I don't look in the books category. The main reason, I've done a video on it in more detail, but the main reason is because most customers do search in all, and I want to see the results that customers actually get when they do their own searches on Amazon. And we can see here, we've got 1,000 results, which is less than the general colouring book keyword, which is good. It means there's less competition. And as we can see here, there are a lot of these books on the first page with good, in fact, great, low, bestsellers ranks, which means not only are they making sales, they are making good sales. Normally when I'm doing research, I look for 3 or more books on the first page with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000 because that means they are making sales and it's worth looking into. These are doing even better than that. And also I noticed that there are books listed on this first page with reasonable bestsellers ranks that haven't got any reviews, which means it might even be that bit easier to get your book on the first page, and that's where you want to be with your books that you publish, because then there's more chance of customers seeing them and making sales. Now, I did have a look at this particular author's books, and she has a lot related to the kawaii niche, or with decent bestsellers ranks. Now, what I do when I'm looking at other books is I make a note of the titles and sometimes the subtitles as well that other authors are using. And I do that because it gives me ideas for other keywords. For instance, we've got Chibi Girls colouring book. I'd make a note of that. creepy kawaii pastel goth colouring book. There could be a couple of keywords there, creepy kawaii colouring book and pastel goth colouring book. In fact, if we go down further, yes, we've got this pastel goth colouring book here. And what I'll do is I'll then put those keywords into the Amazon search bar and look a bit deeper. And we can see here when I put in creepy kawaii colouring book, we've got even less search results. We've got 197 search results. Now, when I'm doing keyword research, as I've mentioned, I look for 3 or more books on the first page with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000. That's what I'm normally doing when I'm researching the niche to know I'm going to get sales. Then I look for those keywords with 1,000 or less search results, because that tells me that there's a reasonable chance of getting my book on the first page. What I also have installed on my Chrome browser is a plugin called Keywords Everywhere, and it gives me this number here where it says volume. Here it says 880 a month, and that's the number of Google searches per month on Google. Because if I find keywords where there are some Google searches, that just gives a keyword a bit of extra strength and may be the deciding factor in whether I use that keyword later on for my own books. Now, as I mentioned, there were a couple of other sub niches that I found when doing my research, and one of them was pastel goth colouring book. Again, low search results on Amazon of 229, and we can see there's a lot of books here, all with decent bestsellers ranks, and books like this one here with the bestsellers rank of 111,000 with no reviews. So there's a good chance you could get your book seen on the first page of Amazon. And the other keyword, related keyword I came across, which looked interesting as well, was chibi colouring book. And I think chibi is these sort of cute Japanese style images. And again, only 508 results. So there's a good chance with keywords like this of ranking on the first page. Now, in terms of sales, that kawaii colouring book had a bestsellers rank of 1,177, which gave sales of between 1,960 to 3,930 a month, which at $7.99 is around about $2.50 profit, which means that one book alone is making a staggering $4,895 to just under $10,000 a month. Now, as I said, that's just one book. Now, as I mentioned, when I do my keyword research, I go to the Amazon search bar. This is where I do most of my keyword research. And I'll put a keyword in like kawaii colouring book. And you can see Amazon gives us all these suggestions, which Amazon is basically telling us what customers are searching for. But customers will also tend to click on these suggestions here. So these are really good, valuable keywords to use. And I normally make a note of all these keywords and put them into a spreadsheet. And I'll go and put each of those keywords into the search bar, look at the number of search results and see if there are any Google search numbers as well. And they all go into this spreadsheet. I have done a video on how I do my keyword research in more detail, again, which I'll do a link to down below in the description, so it's worth watching that. I won't go into it in too much detail here. But I also have another plugin installed called AMZ Suggestion Expander, which gives these other keywords here, which again go into the spreadsheet, and I also search for those on Amazon and look at the search numbers, and you get a useful spreadsheet. And I've already done that for you guys here, and I've got around about 85 keywords, all with Amazon search results and where available Google monthly searches. And I was amazed at the number of keywords there with search results less than 1,000. And I've also listed those other sort of sub niches, the pastel goth and also the chibi colouring book niches there. Now, if you've not been here before, you may not know, I do have a Gumroad shop, and I've listed all these keywords here in .pdf, .csv and Excel format in my Gumroad shop. And they're going to be available free of charge to you guys as a thank you for watching my channel and hopefully subscribing to the channel as well. By the way, if you are getting value from this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated, and it does help with the YouTube algorithm. So in terms of creating the covers and the interiors, well, these types of images are pretty simple. And, you know, if you are an artistic person, this might be a perfect niche for you to learn how to draw. Even for beginners who are not artistic, I think it's something you can learn how to draw. So you can go to somewhere like YouTube, where there's lots of videos here that will teach you how to draw them. You can buy books on Amazon on how to draw kawaii. There's quite a few there. Or you can go to somewhere like Udemy, where they've got these paid courses, again, on how to draw kawaii. Skillshare, well, they also have lots of courses here as well on how to draw kawaii type images. Now, if you wanted to outsource this, you could go to somewhere like Upwork or one of my favorites, Fiverr, and I found this option here, and this artist here will draw you a kawaii coloring page. You see, one of the issues with coloring pages is it might be easy to draw the actual characters themselves, but you also want the background components as well on that coloring book page, and this artist here will do all that for you. Now, it's not cheap, and in fact, for a more complicated, could cost you, it says here, Australian dollars 57, so that probably works out at about 40 to 45 US dollars. Now, a lot of these books were about 40 pages, so you might be looking at 20 images, so you may be investing $800 to $1,000 to create one of these books. But you know, if you do a good book, have a good cover, the return on that investment could be really worthwhile. You could go to a site like Vecteezy, do a search for kawaii, and you've got all these images which you could download. Same goes for Creative Fabrica, one of my favorite places for images, KDP book interiors, and also fonts. And again, there's lots of these kawaii images here, a lot of them available as print on demand, usage allowed. This one looked interesting here, this kawaii avatar creator. This looked more like the chibi colouring book images, and it looked really interesting in that you could mix and match all different things like hairstyles, clothes, etc. to create lots of different types of images. That might be worth some looking at. So some suggestions there that for images that you could use to create the covers and the interior of your books. Now, as you've made it this far, I want to give you some useful insights, and that is you could do kawaii themed covers for other types of books, not just colouring books. That could be graph paper notebooks, dot grid journals, anything. They might, in fact, make a good brand. And you could also use this as a niche for creating merch like these creators have done here on Amazon, which, judging by the bestsellers ranks, are making good sales also. Now, if you're new to self-publishing on Amazon, I suggest you watch this video next, where I run from start to finish on how to make and publish your first book on Amazon. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for watching. It's very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And until next time, goodbye.